In a world not unlike our own, whispers of the end began to circulate. Not the end of a year or an era, but the end of everything. The whispers started as a soft murmur, propagated by the few who dared to speak of it, and soon became a deafening roar that none could ignore. It began with the sky. Once a brilliant shade of blue, it transformed into a perpetual, ashy gray. Clouds hung low, casting dark shadows across the land, rendering days indistinguishable from nights. The sun, once a golden orb of warmth and life, was now a dim, cold speck, struggling to pierce the dense veil of smog that enveloped the earth. Nature's once reliable rhythms became erratic. Birds that had always migrated south now flew in confused patterns, sometimes colliding mid-air, their lifeless bodies raining down. Trees that once bore fruit now stood bare and twisted, their leaves turning black and brittle, crumbling to dust in the hands of those who dared touch them. Rivers, once teeming with fish, now flowed with thick, tar-like substances, the water's surface shimmering with a sickly rainbow sheen. People tried to adapt at first. They built underground bunkers, hoarded supplies, and turned to technology for solutions. But technology, too, began to falter. Machines malfunctioned, and power grids collapsed. The once great cities, with their towering skyscrapers and bustling streets, became ghost towns. Silence pervaded, broken only by the distant cries of those still trying to survive. And then came the beings. From the depths of the ravaged earth, they emerged terrifying creatures of shadow and despair. They were tall, skeletal figures, their skin stretched taut over protruding bones. Their eyes, if they could be called that, were hollow sockets that glowed with an eerie, malevolent light. Wherever they went, the ground turned to rot, and the air grew cold and suffocating. These beings did not kill. No, that would have been a mercy. Instead, they fed on despair. With a single touch, they could draw out the deepest fears and regrets of their victims, leaving them in a state of perpetual torment. People's worst memories played out before their eyes, over and over, until their minds broke from the relentless onslaught. But the worst part was the message. It was a voice, or rather, a cacophony of voices, echoing in the minds of all who remained. It spoke of humanity's hubris, of the countless warnings ignored, of the relentless pursuit of progress at the expense of the planet. The message was clear. This was the price of inaction. The world had been ailing, crying out for help, and humanity had turned a deaf ear. As the days turned into weeks, and the weeks into months, a sense of hopelessness settled over the survivors. Some sought solace in each other, forming tight-knit communities and trying to rebuild. Others, driven mad by the message and the ever-present beings, wandered the desolate landscape, their hollow eyes devoid of any spark of life. But amidst the darkness, a glimmer of hope emerged. A group of survivors, led by a woman named Elara, discovered ancient texts that spoke of a ritual, a way to appease the earth and send the beings back to the depths from whence they came. The ritual required 5 sacred elements: earth, water, air, fire, and spirit. Gathering these elements in the midst of the apocalypse was no easy task, but Elara and her group were determined. As they journeyed, they encountered other survivors who had heard of their mission and wished to help. They shared stories of the world before, of clear skies and flowing rivers, of laughter and love. They spoke of the mistakes of the past and vowed to do better, to cherish the earth and all its wonders. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, the group had gathered all the elements. They chose a location, a once sacred grove, now withered and dying, and began the ritual. The air grew thick with tension as they chanted ancient words, their voices rising in unison. The ground trembled, and the sky darkened even further, as if the very fabric of reality was tearing apart. And then, with a blinding flash of light, it was over. The beings were gone. The sky, though still gray, showed hints of blue. The earth, though scarred, showed signs of healing. But the world was forever changed. The remnants of humanity, humbled by their near extinction, came together, united in their purpose. They rebuilt, not as masters of the earth. They planted trees, purified the waters, and sought to live in harmony with nature. The message, though no longer a constant presence, was not forgotten. It served as a grim reminder of the consequences of inaction, of the importance of listening to the world around us. And so, from the ashes of despair, a new world was born, one of hope, unity, and respect for the earth and all its inhabitants.